All right. Ooh, what's going on here? All right. Call this meeting to order. If everyone could please stand for the pledge of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. On this warm June day, we just returned from executive session where we discussed the superintendent's evaluation, his contract, also the non-bargaining unit contracts, and briefly talked about the SAW contract, which is also on the agenda, later this evening. I also have a few other things that I wanted to share as part of the announcements before we adopt the agenda, but I also want to note that tonight is a study session and there are no public comments at study session meetings. Residents may attend the next scheduled business meeting, which is actually our reorg meeting on July 9th, and or contact the board via email at boe@shenschools.org with any comments or questions. All questions come into the Office of Public Relations Officer and are shared with the board and or superintendent as appropriate. Policy questions or concerns are typically addressed by the board president. Operational questions or concerns are typically addressed by the superintendent and or designee. I also want to note that board member Stacy Flom cannot be here tonight. And I also have a statement that I want to read. So I just, if you'll indulge me. This is a statement of gratitude. And I wanted, so this is from Mr. David Pitts. And I'm reading his statement. Jackson. This is Jackson's father. I wanted to take a moment to truly thank each and every one on the Shen's Board of Education and Dr. Robinson for an unforgettable and immeasurable experience you have bestowed upon my son, Jackson Merritt Pitts. Jackson, being witness to your selfless dedication, excellence, and sacrifice is undoubtedly a blessing beyond measure that will be remembered with great affection always. I remain forever proud and indebted to you all for your goodwill and kindness bestowed on my son. Best regards, Mr. David A. Pitts.
And I second
That's so nice.
Yes. I think it's a very kind statement, and we so very much appreciate you being on this board. And I know that you'll be transitioning to someone new next year, but we hope to see you at the July 9th meeting.
Yes.
That's what I'll add to that. And with that, can I have a motion to adopt the agenda? First is Deanna, second is Gesta. All in favor? It is 6 in favor. Thank you. And now we'll move into the superintendent's report. Dr. Robinson?
Thank you very much, Mrs. Hoffman. So as we come to the close of another year, I want to start by expressing my gratitude to the board. Certainly, I think sometimes when things are going well, it's easy to take people for granted. So I want to express my gratitude to the board. Last week, we recognized Jason and Stacy for their service on the board. I also want to recognize both you and Jason for your leadership over the past year, and say thank you for that tremendous service. And we're looking forward to, you mentioned the reorganization meeting. That's again another opportunity for us to start another chapter, if you will, of the board. And also wanted to acknowledge and recognize, as particularly as we're in the kind of the graduation celebration season, right? The 8th grade moving up, 5th grade moving up, kindergarten moving up. I went to a preschool moving up. So this week, so I've seen a whole gamut of kids in our system, and it's pretty amazing, at least for me, and I think I'm probably one of the rare few people in my position who could actually say this, to see literally from the birth of a child to the graduation of a child. And it's pretty amazing to see this evolution children make, and evolution and how we as a system contribute to that evolution over time. And so it does kind of put you in a sentimental headspace, if you will, when you say you appreciate the work that we do. I know Mrs. Holden was at the Gowanus moving up today when I mentioned that you know, part of my password, and I'm not violating anything, Mr. Right at thing, Mr. Nardelli. Something in part of my passion about love and job. And I'm not going to tell you what's
We're all hacking you right now.
I know, right?
And I say that because, every day, yeah, we have days and moments and we get the nice and nasty grams from people. But you put it all in perspective, and I always say if everybody's happy, something's not happening. And if everybody's is not so happy, then you have to reassess truly what's going on. So again, I guess that's a long way to say thank you. I think we've had a great year. And later on, I'm going to kind of recap the year. I think we've had a great year as a school system and all things considering, and looking forward to as we move forward. And a big part of that is some of the capital project piece. And we have Callie is here with us, and Callie is our architect. And so again, I want to spend a lot of time on it, but I think it's worthwhile, certainly for the board and the public to see how, we always say Shen is always under construction. and literally and figuratively, we're always under construction. I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good metaphor for our folks' continuous improvement focus. And so just want to walk through a couple of things, and Callie's going to walk through. Kathy, unfortunately, cannot be here tonight. We're going to spend a little time to talk about some stuff happening at 5 Maxwell, what you probably have seen on the track and the turf. It's pretty fascinating if you spend some time to see those folks at work with a tight time frame. Some of the things that we have done in the building. So we're just going to walk through a couple of things tonight, and who knows, maybe over the summertime, I was promising the board, but I think our schedules didn't align to do a tour of the Guana spaces, but maybe some point over the summer we might be able to do that as well when things are a bit more relaxed for us. So I'm just going to ask Callie just to briefly kind of walk us through the timeline. It's not, the board has seen the timeline, but it's kind of important to let you know kind of where we are at this point.
Sure, sounds good. So yeah, I don't have anything super flashy and exciting to share tonight, but a very important milestone. We submitted to SED. We did that on May 22nd, which is what we were planning. So the project has been submitted. However, the SED review time is currently 28 to 30 weeks. And then time in there for back and forth on comments. We have received some encouraging news that the expedited third-party review might come back this fall. So if that does happen, what we'll do is we'll look at where we are in the queue versus where they are, and we'll pick the faster route. So hopefully we can get this thing sped up a little bit. But that's where we're at right now. As it sits at SED, we continue to work on the construction documents to make it a bid-ready set. We got all the permitting stuff, all the health and safety stuff in that SED needs to see, but there's still a lot of details to work out. So we're working on that now. We'll keep doing that while it's sitting there at SED. The plan is to go out to bid, right after it comes out of SED. The way it's looking right now might be February or March, but hopefully we can speed that up. And then we anticipate about 14 to 16 months of construction. And Dr. Robinson will show you all of the great demo work that the school's been doing, which will help speed that up. We still want to allot the 14 to 16 months just because of lead times on things, but the actual construction, I think, can happen more quickly than that. And then the goal is, and always will be, substantial completion in time for the September 2026 school year.
So that's like the worst case scenario. That's Callie just painted. So it won't be any later than that. So that's what I mean by that, right? So anything before that is bonus. And so just I just put a lot of pressure on Callie. It's not because she got a tan that she turned red. Just the pressure I just put on her, this yank 10 months out of that time frame. So I think it's important for the board to know that the process is ongoing. And something that's not on the slide, but to kind of give you some perspective, even today, Callie and Cecily and Barb and a bunch of Eric and a bunch of folks looked at a wide assemblage of furniture from different vendors. Looked at different lights to make sure that what we're getting is what we think we're getting. So there's a lot of stuff happening. So when it's time to hit go, we can actually go and not have to wait another 3 or 4 months to do certain things. So certainly not sitting around to wait for those kind of things to happen. So before Callie sit or maybe leave, any questions for Callie before?
That's the 26-27 year.
Yes.
26-27.
Yep.
So the people that were renting the space, they're gone, even though we saw in the one slide where they're leaving furniture, but they're
Yeah, so
all...
we're going to talk about that right now with the demolition stuff. Yep, good question.
Well, I did have one other question. So this is, for doing any work, you can do some things that are not part of this SED approval process, and those are things you are moving forward on. Is that what you're about to go over?
Well, yeah, part
Yeah,
of, but
okay.
they're not doing what we're doing.
Oh,
There's a
oh,
difference.
right.
We have pictures.
Yes, okay.
Thank you. Thanks,
Please.
Callie.
Thank you.
So, thanks, Callie, appreciate it. So
be right
again,
here.
I think these are neat things, and I'm going to give kudos. This picture, I didn't choose a picture, so it's not because Barbie and Kathy did why they chose it. But I think this picture is a perfect symbolism of folks who are doing a lot of things, and Barbie's here. And I always say Barbie's my hero. When I grow up, I want to be Barb. And I say it very respectfully because she's just unbelievable. Her commitment and loyalty and always looking for opportunities. And so this picture is, as you see, we were walking through the site, Barb, Kathy, and I, and we were talking about some of the demolition and salvaging, probably a better word. And so emphasize the point. Private sector buildings have materials and equipment that we can't buy in public sector. It's too expensive. And so if we could salvage, a lot of stuff you'll see later on, as many things we can before the demolition comes in, because when people demolish it, they just knock everything down in piles and haul it out. So we've been doing a lot of salvaging, but more important, a lot of inventory about what can we use where. And so we have used inventory to redo the Chango Library. We're in the process this summer of going to do the faculty spaces here in high school with things from 5 Max or across the board, across the district, many projects that we use in hundreds of thousands of dollars, by the way. And then we have tons of stuff inventory. So I share those things with you because those are the things that people don't see, but those are huge cost savings to the district as a whole, as well as tremendous enhancements. Because we wouldn't have been doing faculty rooms if we didn't have this opportunity. So because we have this opportunity, now we're going to take advantage of this opportunity to do those things as we move forward. So that picture gives you some sense of that. This picture, and by the way, this is with 3 of our guys, primarily, right? All 3 retired, or 2?
We have 4 that are all retired.
Four of our retired operations folks who they're there. The beauty of it, they could be there anytime, any part of the day, night, day, and just work. And it's been great. It's been a tremendous investment. And they know exactly what they need to do and what they need to salvage because they've done the work for the district. They know what can work someplace else in the school district. So they've been doing a lot of stuff. If you notice the grid, all those ceiling tiles, we're capturing tons and tons of ceiling tiles because ceiling tiles are ridiculously expensive and we use a lot of them. And so just give you an example of that, right? So we capture those things that we can reuse and redo as we move forward. And so this is 3 of the 4 amigos. Again, all retired folks who come back and just been great for us and doing a lot of good work. And they literally they're there all the time and just get things done. It's absolutely wonderful. So just kind of give you some sense of, again, the ceiling tiles. So we're trying to get in before the contractors start coming in and just ripping stuff up and taking things out. And so it's kind of, this picture is actually a good one because basically saying goodbye to what was, right? And looking forward to the new things as we move forward. Just give you a view, just kind of give you a perspective. So these are the outside windows over here to the far right. And between each column is equivalent of what will be the width of a classroom. So give you some perspective, right? So you're looking down what would be like a hallway and classrooms all along the way, offices, and if you look to the far side, windows. So to kind of give you a good vantage point of you kind of use your imagination of all this going to be gathered out in classrooms, inner rooms, all those kind of things, right? So we're trying to do a lot of those things now to take advantage of those materials before we move forward. So just give again, there are many things we have inventory, but again, we have 40 pallets of ceiling tiles. And a lot of them are being used right now, light fixtures, stuff that are expensive that you don't think about, but we can reuse them in different places. Steel corners, the corners like you see here in these columns, those steel corners are expensive, that protect corners of walls, especially sheetrock walls and things of that nature. Wood doors. We don't buy wood doors because wood doors are expensive, right? And so wood doors, particularly for interior spaces. Most interior spaces have kind of hollow kind of doors, right? So we have these solid wood doors that we're taking advantage of. Bookcases, and so you name it. We're anything that's salvageable that we can use again. We're trying to take out of their inventory in the basement area, having a great inventory list of what we have here. The big piece that Mrs. Hoffman asked about, and kudos to our tenants, Equitable and Liverpool, those are two particular. When they have left, they're basically saying, you know, because again, private sector, two different things. It's cheaper for them to leave things than to try to take it someplace else. And so tons of desks and cabinets, and we're also getting other businesses that are donating things as well. So we've been storehousing a lot of things at 5 Maxwell, chairs. And so I just want to go back to this again, probably take a little bit longer than anticipated, but I think it's important, right? Because when people think about it, so when a lot of stuff that people have now currently in offices now, my chair, in fact, I think it was like 2 years ago when I finally got another chair. I think somebody felt sorry for me because I was putting duct tape on it after a while, and it doesn't look like a superintendent's chair. And I said it because we have stuff that are older. And so when we create opportunities, and so if we're moving, we don't necessarily want to bring 20-year-old chairs and desks, but we need to replace them with something, so we create opportunities. And so huge opportunities in terms of costs that we're not expending at some point down the road for future years with office desks and chairs and things like that. So we have a lot of these things, a lot of them will be used in that building, some of them are already being used in other buildings as people, through the budget process, requesting chairs. You got a chair for you. Could be in your office the next day. Faster than Amazon. So I share those kind of things because I think the board needs to have that appreciation of it, because these are things that, we do because it's what we do. We try to take advantage of situations. The track and the turf is a lot of work happening very quickly. And I want to highlight the timeline is September 20th. The football season, the first 3 games, the first 2 games have been scheduled away. Then I think it's the 3rd game that's back here. And we deliver a schedule because we won't have access to the facilities during that period of time in the fall. So that work is happening fast right now. A lot of drainage around the perimeter, redoing the drainage, make sure those things are complete. Some electrical pieces going across so we can have more electrical timing for track and field and things of that nature. The tennis courts, and so if you walk out there's a lot of work happening right now as we speak, and we have a lot of confidence in particularly the group that's doing the turf, and certainly the group that's doing the track, but certainly the turf, because they've done both turf facilities with us, and we've seen the quality of work they've done. And also the timeliness of the work. They understand the time frame because they have another job lined up. So it's happening very quickly and like clockwork for us. And so we're excited about that, what the possibility of that brings as we move forward. So again, it's just to get a bird's eye view of as they go through and start laying out the groundwork, the flattening of it as we move forward. So a lot of work happening with that piece of it. The air conditioning at the elementary schools, ironically, as we talk about air conditioning today, I think back in the calculus way back when, we were anticipating that maybe by the beginning of June. However, lead time, as Khaled pointed out, lead time for certain things is just a killer right now, and it's kind of hard to anticipate. Kind of go, oh, we'll have it in April. Well, maybe June. Well, maybe this. And so we were actually all surprised when they went from the end of July to end of June or beginning of June. They were like, oh, the thing's going to be delivered. Like, whoa. So this is the units, right? Huge units that's at the North and South elementary schools that be delivered by crane. And so those units are in a process. In fact, tomorrow they're supposed to be shutting down power, if I'm not mistaken, in both of those buildings to try to start connecting the electrical pieces to make sure that those things work, and then they run through the whole gamut. So hopefully in a week or so beyond that point, those will be up and running. The Octane Changa one, right now they're being tested as we speak to see if those are going to run fully. There's some tests today, and so far so good. So those are up and running. So the whole notion of dealing with heating spaces, at least other than the middle school, and the middle school is a potential referendum out to provide some air conditioning in those spaces as well. So we have some spaces that's air conditioned, but not the entire building. So we're looking forward to that as we move forward, having this on board. Gowanus is functional space now. As you can see, people have made their home. And it's a wonderful space, and the big part of that was the move of the Gowanus office to the front. Huge difference in terms of flow, visitation flow, administrative flow, security flow, all those type things, and then creating some additional classroom capacity as a result of that. So we're pleased with how that project turned out. Still going through the punch list process right now, so some things will happen over the course of the summer to do some punch list items, but certainly night and day for that facility as a result of the recent construction. And this is just some examples from the Gowanus project, where it's knocking out some existing walls, creating some different spaces as well for the Gowanus project. And so a lot of work takes place, and I think sometimes people take granted. We have a short window to do a lot of construction. End of June to beginning of September. A lot of stuff has to happen with that period of time. And so it's a lot of pressure on everyone, contractors and alike, a lot of pressure to get stuff done. It's pressure-filled time, and you know, it works, and it's not the idea, but we go from this to great spaces like this, you know, great art room spaces like this, drop-down power connection. So there's great spaces for kids and staff to use. This is another great space, art display. What was once a very underutilized space wall is now a space that we can do displays and things of that nature. So looking forward to looking at some of those kind of things. Again, some enhancements to the walls of Gowanus. This is the green gym, so to speak. If you ever come to the Gowanus entrance, this is green gym. We have the Board of Education with the budget vote. That's that entrance, and so some real nice enhancements to that as well. The high school music room. It's been great for kids. Waiting to reconcile some issues with the doors. But the space itself is soundproof quality, and those kind of things is great. Great music spaces for our students. So again, look, by the end of July, hopefully all those punch list items will be done, and we can button that project up as well. So again, this is kind of sure when they started doing lights and soundproof and some of the stuff above the ceiling, because oftentimes you have no idea what's above the ceiling. So you kind of want to have this picture to show you that there's a lot of stuff above the ceiling that's covered up as a result. So that's a lot of big piece of it as well. And last piece, just wanted to thank you, because, and again, you know, these kind of conversations happen all the time on the job, where myself, Kathy, Barb, Augie, different people, we foot on the ground to say, okay, what's happening, when it's not happening, why it's happening, how it's happening, all those kind of things. So you kind of see some sense of what's what as we move forward. So this conversation was this past summer when we were kind of going through and thinking about how we're going to identify some new spaces, what we're going to do some spaces. Does it still align with some of our needs as we move forward? So exciting times for us on the construction front, but a lot of work taking place and a lot of work still to be done. So if there's any thoughts, questions, I'd be more than happy to address those as well.
Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Dan, can I flip with you just since I'm talking?
You can do whatever you like.
Since I just feel like I'm just yapping, might as well just finish yapping.
Keep one yapping, man. Keep going.
So thank you, Deanna. So one of the things and again, the board is aware, because I shared a year-end piece with the board, so I won't necessarily go into as many details. However, I always think that it's important for us to capture the public, some of the big things that's happening out there as well. And picture says it all, right? When you get this, is kind of give you the sense of what this whole thing's about. You know, why we do the work that we do, and quite frankly, with you, I mean, literally, that says so many different things in terms of the variety of needs and the variety of students that we serve, and how we want every child to have a place here at Shen. So I think that says a lot. And again, this is just a quick synopsis. And so we've been, you know, one of the things I'm fond of saying to folks is repeatable successes. You know, we can do something one time. The question is, can we do it again and again and again and again? And that comes down to the process. Then what's the process that we put in place so we can have those repeatable successes, right? So it's like clockwork. And so that's a big piece of what we try to do. And this is a perfect example of, you have some kids here, you know, again, how do we get kids in also in that trial and error, and then you kind of figure out what's going on, and then once you figure it out, document it so you can do it again and again and again. And so certainly these, I think these some of the robotics kids were working on some things, and working through some things. But again, I want to point it out, because that kind of drives what we do all the time. a lot of focus on mental health for this past year. Again, I'm not going to click on, these are presentation that the board has seen here. But a acute focus on systematizing the services that we have here and expanding those services inside and outside of the system, so to speak, between Saratoga Center for the Family, some of the things that Matt and Becky has been working on with some partnership with Saratoga County. All those things are just great opportunities to provide mental health supports for kids. Communication is an ongoing piece. It's an ongoing piece for us, and so we try to do it in a wide variety of one. I highlight the weekly wrap because for those who've been around, we used to call it the, heard on the grapevine. And they literally kind of came from the song where, I shared the story. I was a little at a game, and someone is sitting there talking about something that I actually did, and I was like, no, that's not how it goes. No, I heard it. Okay, but I'm here to tell you that's not. And then I was like, okay, so this grapevine thing is actually more powerful than the actual facts. And so we started the grapevine. It's literally that's how the name grapevine came about. And so now we do the weekly wrap and try to kind of highlight some things at the end of each week so people have some sense of what's going on. And even some neat stuff, again, not the safety work, a lot of work with safety and the QR codes and the decals, all those kind of things. And that committee continue to look at different ways to communicate some of those, I call the things that, the impactful things, right? That we want people to know and do, particularly when doing and knowing makes a big difference, right? And so that's a big piece of it as we move forward. Again, a lot of different communications over the course of the past year. This is just some of the bigger pieces we've been talking about, everything from bus electrification to lead testing, to the new family, to updating the website, which we're looking forward to, updating the website as we move forward. Again, these kind of things follow some of some of the focus areas. Progress, always charting and tracking what we do is a big part of it. The how well part of the equation is a big part of what we do. And equity inclusive, I got to tell you, and I want to say thank you to this board, because this is unusual for a board to say, I can have this presentation and talking about focus on equity, diversity, inclusivity for kids, a place where every kid who comes to Shen have a place. That's not a conversation that's commonplace. So kudos to you as a board, and I think this community appreciates it because people look around, regardless of your ideology, we want kids to be in a place where they can be the best version of themselves. And so this certainly speaks to that, and certainly we'll be doing more in the coming year. The Elevating Student Voice project is a perfect example of that. Inside project went outside, is coming back inside again. So those things are pretty exciting for us as a system. I mentioned the progress with the K facility. Kudos to Erica Ryan. She's been spearheading that ad hoc group with teachers and really trying to understand, make sure we have all the nuances related to K. A lot of work with IPAC in terms of the kind of courses. You've heard the things from Matt with some of the college articulation pieces. And a big piece that we're going to really jump more into next year is AI. Implications related to AI. So you're going to have some different presentations on that, as you had one already, but how is this changing the frontier, so to speak, of education? So certainly going to look forward to that, those kind of things. Engagement opportunities is a point of focus where we start to track data on kids, who's engaged, who's not engaged, why and why not, and then so we kind of figure out then based upon the data, what's the data telling us, right, and we move forward. And equity in sports is something that we've been focused on. Again, you heard Mr. Collins said it the last couple of weeks, and we're pleased. We're not shy as a system to say if it's the right thing to do, we don't mind leading the charge, and we have led the charge, particularly on the girls' sports side. And this is something that based upon some regulation changes at the State Education Department, that we're going to have to be aggressive about maintaining to make sure that we still have opportunities for young men and young women to participate in sports. And the equity and the Title IX pieces remain front and center of some of those type things coming on the pike. So more to come on those things as we move forward. So a lot of engagement opportunities as well. So again, kudos to the board, because the board has been very supportive of some of the things that we've brought forward to have our students much more involved. Hiring practices goes with that. We always talk about the depth of the bench, right? So who's on the bench, and next person up, who's ready to step up? How can we grow our own? And so we're looking at those kind of things. Succession planning. So the board has approved several people who, part of the succession, how do we make sure that we get people in and train them up, expose them, so when it's time to step up, they're truly ready for that next or something Deanna just talked about all the time, leveling up. You know, how do we level up to grow in our own process? So those are some of the things that we really focus on from the hiring process, as well as recruiting and attracting the best folks have an interest in Shen. Some of the things that we do on the financial side, you know, I think as a school district, we've done a pretty good job about the advocacy piece, be it either through school boards or lobbying with our local legislators, or some of the stuff that I do outside of the Shen, but related to superintendents on the national level with some of our organizations, really having our voice heard on some of the things that matter most for education. I think our fiscal health of the school system has been strong by many measures, and so I think it's important. You know, we have to stay fiscally fit in order to continue to do the things that we are committing ourselves to do. So certainly want to look at those kind of things. And then looking at some grant opportunities. NYSERDA grant was a perfect example. The piece that we always struggle with as a system is that, you know, we're the quintessential right in the middle district. We're too rich to be poor, too poor to be rich. So a lot of these grants initially say, well, you're not qualified, but we kind of apply anyway because we figure that those who qualify may not apply, and if we're in line, we're next up. And so NYSERDA was a perfect example of that. Initially, you're not qualified, but they went through the first round. Okay, now I got to go to the second round of folks. So we're constantly just kind of staying in the game, so to speak, to see those opportunities that come about. So again, the tactical piece. Again, I kudos to the board for the years of supporting the budget, and I think that the community, and thanks to the community. This community has been very supportive of our budgets and our budget referendums and our votes. And I think a lot of that is because people see the end result. You know, when we say we're doing this for this reason, they see the end result. And I think that's important as well. So those things are important. And so you know, I kind of want to end with this quote, because I say this amongst my administrative team all the time. It's about synergy of efforts, not who gets credit, but what we get credit for. Because at the end of the day, it's a collective work and responsibility, right? And so we have folks who are bought into our mission, bought into our approach, and I think as a result of that, as a system, we work very well so our kids can proudly stand up and display their work, right, and be proud of who they are and knowing that they're part of the Shen community. So again, thank you for your support, and same way I kind of end with kids. Start with kids, I want to end with kids, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. And I think as long as we keep that focus, a lot of the other noise, quite frankly with you, drowns out, because at the end of the day, our focus is how it's impacting our kids, in what manner, and then how do we move forward all the time trying to improve upon what we do. So again, thank you for the indulgence. Probably took a little bit longer than anticipated, but I really appreciate the board's indulgence.
It was a good year.
It was a good year. And I really appreciate the links in that document, because as I was going through, you know, you could click on something, it would take you back to the presentation, maybe months ago, maybe January, maybe in the fall. But that's really helpful too. But yeah, we did a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And before
You
Ms.
did a lot of
Stevenson
stuff, your
continue,
team.
just want to say, you know, so the epitome of this all, graduation on the 26th coming up, and to me that's like that's the punctuation point at the end of the sentence, right? And you know, today I just looked at some data. We start out this year with 9,263 kids, beautiful minds, and we're ending the year with 9,378 beautiful minds. And I think that's important when you think about, you know, the scope and the magnitude of the work that we do. And on top of that, we still have 767 students that go private and parochial. We still have 261 students that go homeschool. So when you do the numbers, and those numbers have been pretty consistent, those two numbers I shared as well. So I think that just give the sense of it, and kudos to Sarah and some of her team with the pre-K numbers. Now this year we're up to 177 kids in pre-K services. First year out, I think we're like 60 kids, and we're still trying to always lobby for capacity to do more for kids. And so again, I think those things give perspective, right? Context about the work that we collectively do, and you as a board have been very supportive of. So again, thank you for that.
How many kids are crossing the stage next week?
Well, I think Ron is thinking about 750. 750. I'm thinking it's gonna be probably more like 730, but I'm not the high school principal. It's
Oh,
gonna
he's
be,
not here.
say this way, it's gonna be a lot of kids. After,
Oh, yeah.
after 500, you start to not feel your fingers
Yeah,
anymore.
start not
Like-
feeling your legs.
So no, it's gonna be exciting times.
Yeah,
Yep.
all right, thank you.
So thanks, Deanna, for the dog.
Any other questions before I move on to the next area of topic? No? Okay, I know, it's a hot area. All right, Deanna, please.
Yeah, I looked at the itinerary and I'm like, wait a minute, oh my God, I gotta talk about foundation. I didn't snuck up on it. Anyway, in following up with Dr. Robinson's comments, next generation. So, right, this is, when we talk about the foundation, 501c3, the Shenendehowa Education Foundation is an investment in education and an investment in the future of our kids. We're all about the kids. The foundation is all about the kids and what we give back to the district and the community. So we've had a pretty active year so far for the foundation. I do want to mention the board members that sit with us around the table. A few of them. Bob Presley couldn't be here tonight, but Bob is my co-chair for the foundation. Chris Pignell, community member and Shenendehowa graduate. Amy Seagrote. Dan Jerem is our treasurer. Mary Colleen Lamberti sits on. She is our newly elected board member. Gusta is our BOE liaison. Andrea Gallo. Bill Casey, who we all remember Bill from the board. And Matt Miles, Dr. Matt Miles, who's also a Shenendehowa graduate. So again, we've done some really great things in advertising what the foundation is. We need to do more of it. We need to get the word out. We need to continue to do that through the district, through the community. But the grants that we've put out thus far this year, we've really taken full advantage of them and trying to, when we presented the check, we did pictures, right, to do a little bit more advertising. We did one for Aspire. I don't know if you all remember the tweet that went out when all the kids went down to New York City. Some of these kids have never been out of Saratoga County, and they got to go to New York City and see a play. And then they saw, I can't remember his name.
Lyndon.
Yeah, they saw him out, so that was great. And that was a grant from the foundation. Distracted Driver. That was the one that, if you haven't seen some of these pictures yet, but we just presented this one with Pete Bardunius came down from the Saratoga County Chamber. You saw that on Facebook. He did a picture with us, and then I went in to talk to the counselors. He went out, you were asking about this, he went out with Ron to look at the new houses that the kids built through technology. So that's why Pete was here. So we did a photo op with him. Seed Camp, we sponsored about 25-30 kids this year for summer camp through the grant. Tool cart, middle school, Andy Mink, Rock Travis asked for a tool cart for technology, so we did that with them. We're going to do a photo op with them soon, probably within the next 2 weeks. Nutritionist, Coach Jess Salmon in the grade 9 level, all the PDF lift. We did we gave back, and they had a nutritionist come in and talk about the importance of nutrition and athletics and what the right things to eat through the day. A lot of kids had a lot of questions about that. Backpack is our tried and true. We have a restricted fund in the foundation for backpack alone. And we sponsored the Shen Hall of Fame this year. That happened 2 weeks ago, June, how can I forget that, Belmont week, right, June 7th. But I will tell you, and I will ask that all of you, I mentioned this to Naomi at grade 9 presentation that night, the awards. Really, if you can go to Hall of Fame night, it's really great. The stories that the athletes told, I was in tears half the time, all giving support back to their family and what inspired them and what continues to inspire them through their life. So that I ask that you really take a moment and spend an hour or so with us on that night. Next year it's May 25th or May 30th. Chris already put the date out, but I'll continue to talk about that. And then leading up to, we're going to continue to do grants. We're already I think we're 50% more than what we did already last year at this point. All leading up to our big event, which will be November 2nd at Vista. We're going to do the big name reveal to save the date very soon. We've got a lot of input from the district, our board members, into what we think it should look like, but we've got everything set. It's just getting our sponsors now, getting the word out, hoping that, we're looking at some of the sponsors. If they can't make it, we're going to donate some of those tickets back to our community of teachers so they can come and enjoy the night as well.
What's the big name?
haven't revealed it yet.
Yes.
It's gonna go with the same
The
date.
theme,
No,
the theme, the theme.
The theme
Oh,
of the
no,
theme
no,
of the event.
I thought you were naming something else.
Oh,
No,
theme.
the theme of the event, I'm
Gotcha.
sorry.
Okay.
I
No,
misread
it's
it.
my misinterpretation. Gotcha.
So, pretty excited about that, so more to come.
Cool.
So, any questions or comments? Thank you. So the NISBA resolutions, the next item. There's nothing really to share. There is one that resolution, and I'm going to need to work with the administration to get some data to back that one up. The pre-K one, yeah. So hopefully that'll happen over the next week or so, because I think we need to get it in by July, right? By July 12th. I did need to know that date, so now I have it. But I did talk to Dr. Robinson about this, and I'm hoping to work with him and Dr. Cecily Wilson-Turner back there, and have something ready for the first submission. Okay, July 12th. Thank you. All right, so we did the end of the year recap. Before we move on, any comments or questions before we turn it over to Mrs. Dalia? No? Okay, please.
Okay, good evening. So you have in front of you tonight the staffing agenda that has several items on it again. Most of these items on here are curriculum work for summer and summer appointments. I would like to point out 2 retirements with appreciation. We have Amy Drages at 20 years, school monitor, and Julie Kovic, 10 years at elementary classroom 8, for a total of 30 years for retirements.
Okay, thank you. So with that, can I have a motion to approve the substitute pay rates and staffing recommendations, which include the superintendent's contract, non-represented benefit booklets for the DLST, DASS, and Management Confidential, and the ratification of the EXAL collective bargaining agreement. First is Jason, second is Petra. Any comments? I did want to say thank you to Dr. Robinson and his team for working hard to make these events happen. A lot, there's a lot going on there that we just approved. But I also wanted to comment on the internships. I love that. I saw that there were a couple of
Yes.
like SHED internships, and I recognized the names of the students. So well, that's exciting. Also seeing some of our other students come back for positions. So it's, I usually don't always catch them as I'm going through that list, but I saw them, and that's pretty cool. And then the other.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, no,
sorry.
it's okay. And then the only other thing I wanted to say is I wish our retirees, Amy and Julie, who you just
Yes.
mentioned, all the best in their journey outside as they continue their journey outside of Shenendehowa. So thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
And with no other comments? I know I already asked, but all in favor? It is 6 in favor. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so with that, we'll move on to approval of, we're on to B. Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the final site contract? That's the one
Sorry.
for-
Did you saw?
Yeah, he
Oh, yeah, I
combined-
did. I did.
Oh, you combined it with the
Yes,
others?
I
Okay,
combined them all.
sorry.
Yeah. Well, I guess I could have broken them out.
No,
but it
no,
seemed
no,
to
you're
make
good,
sense
you're
to
good.
combine them.
Final site,
Yep, it's
moved.
Okay, Jason's first. Gustus second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? It is 6 in favor. The motion is approved. Thank you. Item C. Can I have a motion to approve the additional ECA clubs and I'll make a comment in a second. First is Petra, second is Tom. Comments? I was just going to say that we had talked about that. This does seem late to be approving them, but these are programs that have been running, and so it's just so that those teachers can be paid those stipends. All in favor? It is 6 in favor. The motion is approved. With that, I'll move into the item number 4 for the good of the order. This is an opportunity for members of the board to discuss salient district-related matters. Just to give a shout out. To the floor. Yes.
I just want to say congratulations to all the graduates. The pre-K, the kindergarten, the 5th grade, 8th grade, and high school. It's an exciting time, no matter how old you are. And I can't believe I'm a high schooler this year. And I know many of you have been there before me, and many will come. So congratulations, everybody.
Yeah, it goes by fast. That's all I can say. It's very sad and exciting at the same time.
No, it's good. It's all good.
But
I'll also say congratulations, and then I'll just say thank you all for letting me be part of this for the last 3+ years. It's been a trip, and I've enjoyed all my time with you, and good luck to our next member for tonight, but good luck to everyone, so thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Well, we still have you for one more week for the graduation.
I can make some
That's
good
our last
trouble.
event,
Yeah.
and also we'll have our new board members there too, watching, not standing the whole time, but you're actually going to have a better seat probably in that you're not having to stand, but you're still close to the action. Okay, any other comments? Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn versus Jason?
Adjourn.
Second is Deanna.
It's gonna last.
All in favor? It is 6 in favor. Motion, meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
I had to.
Yeah, that's true. It's your last one. Oh, can you turn off your mics, please?